is Sarah Parker Thomas. Today I'm sharing with you a small snippet of the interview that happened on January the 8th, 2017 from the live webinar on clearing anxiety. It was brought to you by Serenity Reiki Clinic, and if you didn't get to see it all, there's a link at the bottom that you can go to listen to the full broadcast, complete with meditations, Q&A. We had a lot of stuff going on that day, and we gave away over $900 US worth of prizes. You really should have been there. We featured Goddess Jane, live from Scotland, Lady Roxanna, who was live from New Orleans, and myself. The event was graciously hosted by the cowboy gentleman himself, James Dreyer. So let's cut right to the interview, shall we? Thank you, everybody. It's so great to be here. I appreciate the introduction. Okay. Wow, there's a lot going on today, isn't there? For folks that don't know me, my name is Sarah Parker Thomas, and I own the Serenity Reiki Clinic and Sarah Parker Thomas, which is known as Bliss. Bliss is a full coaching practice from life, business, health, spiritual, and wellness, yeah. And I'm also a registered nutritionist, a Reiki master teacher, published author. I teach meditation, and I do a bunch of other things too, including continuously studying and taking classes so that I can better help my clients. Let me also add before we get too far today that no one that will be on this program today, nor myself nor James, is a licensed therapist. Yeah, so this should not be taken as medical or psychiatric advice. We are each sharing our own unique and individual take on the subject, our own journey. And the ideas expressed do not reflect on Serenity Reiki Clinic in any way, or Bliss either. Well, except for me, because they're both my businesses, so they pretty much reflect me. But you get what I'm trying to say. We may not all agree or see eye to eye on some of these subjects, but I can tell you that I respect everyone involved today, and we're all here to learn and grow on our paths. Keep that in mind, and like I say, this is not medical or psychiatric advice. If you think you're having some real issues, then go seek qualified care, okay? And speaking of that, when I was doing this research, and I did a lot of research because I wanted to be able to quote you the correct numbers. Well, what I found out was rather astonishing. Over 35% of the population seeks out alternative therapists for help with anxiety. Did you know that? That's a large number, isn't it? And I knew that was pretty much the case that I've come across. I get lots of clients at Serenity and at Bliss who come to me for counseling, Reiki, help with wellness and life coaching, energy balancing to kind of help them get over anxiety. And I have been treating them for probably a little over 10 years. But even I was surprised that number was so high. Yeah, we've had pretty successful results. Well, actually, very good results. To be honest, a lot of people know something is wrong, and they may have even broached the subject with their GP or another professional, But for whatever reason, didn't get the answers they needed, or perhaps didn't want to take the meds, or maybe even couldn't find someone that they trusted to speak to because of the stigma. So they end up coming to the clinic. You don't have to come in person. Obviously, we can do it online. We can do it via telephone, Skype, Messenger. We can do it that way. Skyping is actually very successful. I mean, there's a lot of factors involved, of course, and honestly, everyone is different. I have a particular approach, but it also depends on the type of anxiety, because we're not all cookie cutter replicas. Everybody is unique and on a unique path. But that being said, do you know what the most common anxiety is? Anxiety disorders are the most common psychiatric illness affecting children and adults today. And only about 1/3 of those suffering from anxiety disorders receive treatment, even though those disorders are highly treatable. Now, before I go any further, I hate to use that term psychiatric illness because there's so much stigma surrounding that term. And that's such bullshit because, the numbers show something like 40 million Americans. 40 million American adults suffer from anxiety disorders. But it's not just Americans either. In recent survey, this is what I researched, in recent surveys covering Great Britain, 1 in 6 adults had experienced some sort of neurotic health problem in the previous week. So let me say that again. 1 in 6 from the UK in a week. with anxiety being listed as number one. So that breaks down to approximately 3 million with an anxiety disorder just in the United Kingdom. And that's a really high number. How about Canada? In 2013, an estimated 3 million Canadians, which is 11.6% of the population, aged 18 or older, they didn't deal with children or teens here, not adolescents, just 18 or older, reported that they had mood or anxiety disorder. More than a quarter, 27% actually, reported that their disorder affected their life quite a bit or extremely in the previous 12 months. Basic activities and the ability to work were challenging for many people. And anybody that suffers from anxiety can tell you that's the truth too. So it's a really high number. And if it affects that many people, why do we still have such a stigma? That's crazy, isn't it? But I encourage each of you to be an ambassador if you or someone you know suffers from anxiety. It's time to clear this up, okay? It's time to take the stigma away so people can get the necessary help they need. And I'll take this opportunity to tell you that I myself have suffered from anxiety, including post-traumatic stress syndrome. And it kind of manifested into social anxiety. So I am speaking from personal experience here as well as professional experience. And I think we need to have an honest, open dialogue about anxiety. People have asked me in the past what I did to get over my anxiety. And one of the things I did was I used cognitive behavior therapy on myself, along with Reiki, meditation. I cleaned up my diet and did some other things that I'm going to discuss in a moment, including other energy work as well. This happened many years ago. I had a series of traumatic events happen and I was just shattered. I had a very stressful childhood and also didn't have good or honestly any life coping skills either. So I was always stressed out and I was manifesting more stress and more crap. I was in that heightened, stressful, edgy state most of the time. So this was just the icing on the cake, so to speak, when these events happened. The stress of the event was beginning then to manifest in odd ways in my life, as anxiety does, and I was becoming more and more fearful. And I knew that I needed help, so I went to a therapist and I discussed the problem. She assessed me and told me I wasn't crazy, which I'm going to stop right here and talk about that. That is something I think that people need to hear. When you're going through something really stressful like this and having the anxiety start to manifest in weird behavior, yeah, you think you're losing your mind. You really think you're going crazy. So going to a therapist, going to somebody and talking to them and having them reassure you is it's worth the money to go do it. Because, like I say, you feel like everything's going in the toilet anyway, and then on top of it, you're freaking crazy. So you begin to stress even more, And another point I'd like to make is don't let somebody else belittle you for how you feel. Two people can be in the same situation and go through the same traumatic event and come out of it completely different. It doesn't mean that one person is better than the other, one person is more adjusted than the other, or stronger than the other. It doesn't have anything to do with that. What it has to do with was how much anxiety and stress they were carrying before the event happened and how they cope and process with these feelings and emotions. So stop comparing yourself to other people and stop letting other people belittle your feelings. If you need help with your anxiety, go get help. I went to the therapist and we discussed treatment options, and I knew I could form a plan for personal recovery. And I figured if it didn't work, I could always go back, This happened probably in my early to mid-20s. And what I did was I formed, like I say, a plan. I upped my meditation. I started there, and then I began cleaning up my diet. And it's amazing what caffeine can do to the nervous system. And from there, I started cutting toxic people out of my life, which is also a very hard thing to do, but very, very helpful in eliminating anxiety. I also started more intense energy work, and after those changes, I started feeling better, so I started exercising more, And then I became committed to a daily yoga practice, and when I felt more balanced, I started doing little bits of the things that had suddenly started terrifying me. See, that's the thing about stress. It can manifest in bizarre ways. Anxiety suddenly just comes out of the blue. It may be something that you've never been afraid of, like per se dogs, or dating, or driving over bridges bridges or something like that. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. Okay, so let's talk about what anxiety really is and the facts. Anxiety itself is a normal response to stress or danger and is often called the fight or flight response. Yay, root chakra! Yeah. Anyway, this process involves adrenaline being quickly pumped through the body, enabling it to cope with whatever traumatic event may come its way. So see, the problem arises when the response is out of proportion to the actual danger of the situation, or if indeed it's generated when there is no danger. So you see, anxiety is actually normal. It's part of our evolutionary and adaptive behavior. It helps us prepare for danger, and so therefore it's not the enemy. The goal is to manage our anxiety, not eliminate it, yeah? To hear my full interview, more facts about anxiety, some mudras you can do, and some other exercises, hit the link below. I believe it's posted in the comments section, okay? And go watch the actual full 1 hour file, okay? And also be sure and check out Goddess Jane's and Lady Roxanna's interviews too. They both shared a lot of valuable information and had 2 great meditations. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe so you can stay up to date with the webinars, the classes, the events, the retreats. So much stuff is going on in 2017. I can't wait to see you. Thanks. See you later. Reiki blessings. Bye-bye.